you're not meant to not enjoy the majority of your life. And like I said, I'm very fortunate and I work really hard. I work literally every day, but to me, it's not that hard to work every day because I enjoy what I do and I love what I do. And I just followed my heart and I've just been able to make it work. So I always encourage people. And if anyone listens to this, dude, if you have a genuine passion, if you're willing to work hard enough, you'll probably be able to find a way to make a living doing that. You may not make a great living, at least not at the start, but dude, who's to say you can't do really well for yourself? You know, if you're fucking whatever, a trainer like me, or if you're into basket weaving, you know, it doesn't matter. If you're passionate enough about it, you'll find a way to make it work.
Welcome to the Free Yourself podcast, everybody. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ryan Janni, and I am naked. And today we have a very special guest, my man Tanner Shuck. He is a Dubai CrossFit Games champion. He is an amazing strength coach. His company is called True Strength. The website truestrength.co. Make sure you go check out his programs and stuff. I am so happy to have this man on my podcast. A great friend of mine for over a decade now. Dr. Brian May is the reason why we got connected. He did a podcast with Tanner, and Brian's been on my podcast. I've been on him. He's a old friend of mine. I love the guy to death. And anybody that he holds to a high regard for having knowledge about health and fitness and wellness, I immediately am going to, with his word, I'm going to check them out. And then it did not disappoint when I saw your page, your content, A fucking plus, man. Your video editing, everything you're talking about, I'm happy to have you on my podcast, man. I can't wait to get into it.
Dude, well, Ryan, I'm honored to be here, man. Thank you for doing that. I think podcasts are great. It's a great way to consume content, long form, and they're just very genuine. So, bro, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Hell yeah, man. And I saw that you've been writing for T Nation now. That's awesome.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, dude. I've been super fortunate. I've been writing for them for, I think, a little over a year now. And it's crazy. I already have, I don't know, like 50 or 60 articles for them. It blows my mind. But super honored that they, wanted to publish me, and then they like publishing me. And I'm looking forward to writing for more, like fitness outlets, if that makes sense. So just trying to put out a positive message.
Yeah, man. And being published on is only gonna, it ups your credibility so much as a strength coach. It's so agree. Cool to see, man.
Thank you, dude.
How did that sort of start? Like not only how did it start with T Nation, but like what made you want to write articles about it?
So long story short, man, I've been training my whole life. It's like literally it's my passion, man. I've been consumed by it for my whole life. And I've just been training a long time, and I've been following T Nation since I was probably in high school. And I just saw a lot of their articles out there, and I've learned so much through T Nation. And I saw some stuff that they were putting out there, and I was like, you know what, I could do this, or I could put out even a better content or better articles and do that. And so literally, man, I just submitted an article, filmed a video, and they liked it and they published it. And then since then, man, I've just been consistent with it and just sticking with it. And just, like I said, just trying to share a positive message, my message, and just my training content, my training philosophy. And luckily it's resonated, I think, pretty well with the T Nation readers. And again, I'm just thankful to be on that platform.
Hell yeah, man. Their reputation is, they've been doing it for so long.
I know. Like I said, I've been following them since I was like basically a kid, and I saw what they were putting out. I was like, man, I could do this. I could do better. So, that's what I've tried to do.
And I've heard on Brian's podcast that you played D1 football at Rice, right?
Yes, sir. Yep. So I've basically been playing sports my whole life. And then once I was done playing real sports, then I just gravitated into like competitive exercise, just trying to exercise fast. Cause I knew I was never cut out for a real job, and all I ever wanted to do was work out. And I just did whatever I had to do to make that to make it work for me, to make a living doing that. And so I naturally gravitated towards CrossFit and competing. And luckily I had some success with that. And, unfortunately I've been kind of sidelined from competing just because I've had, kind of a multitude of injuries, but I still train hard. I still take it very seriously. I love it. And I also train people and, coach people online.
Yeah, man. It's so cool to see someone else's journey it's like we're running like parallel. Like I played hockey my whole life. I played all sports pretty much my whole life, but hockey was, what I went into college and played. I played D3 club and D1 club. I didn't quite make it to NCAA because I'm not from Canada or Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's all right, man. That's okay.
But I totally, I get where you're coming from, and you wanted that competition, and you went to CrossFit, and I went to powerlifting. Like it's very
awesome.
Very similar. The big lifts are what's so important about all these sports, and
foundational.
Yeah, and this is the stuff that sets you up for longevity in health and wellness and just movement. Like they're the core lifts that you need: bench, squat, deadlift, overhead
press, pull-ups, those kind of things, man. Like you're literally saying the same. We're preaching the same message, and I preach it weekly, and I'll never stop preaching it, man, because strength training, it's literally the closest thing to a fountain of youth that humans have, and they should never stop lifting weights, and they need to maintain as much muscle mass as possible as we age. It's imperative for longevity and just overall health.
Yeah, and I love what you said on Brian's podcast. It stemmed from a post that you made about the best way to start losing weight for someone who's overweight is really
lifting weight
and changing your diet.
Yeah, for sure. Just lift weights and eat more protein. If I could simplify it, just if you need like a sound bite, people, the only thing they really need to do is lift weights and prioritize protein. And if they keep doing that and they do it consistently, they're going to like what happens to their body. They're going to like how they feel. Like pretty much every aspect of their life will improve.
Absolutely, man. This is why I wanted to talk to you, man, because we talk about so many of the same things with, like, I have so many people. I'm also a DJ and producer. So like in that,
awesome.
in that side of the my life, I'm the person who's preaching about all this stuff. All this.
You're like the healthy guy in that clique. I understand what you're man.
But what's been really cool is seeing a lot of my DJ producer friends. They're coming to me, not just for like advice, but just to tell me like, hey, like I started hitting the gym this week. Hey, like I ate a couple salads this week. Like just little things. And
dude, they help a lot. They mean a lot. I get messages daily saying, hey man, I've started eating healthier because of you. And this lady actually messaged me yesterday saying she lost 50 pounds just from watching my Instagram story for the past year and a half. And I was just like, that's amazing. So amazing.
It's so cool.
Keep putting that message out, man. Keep doing it.
Yeah. And just to your point, man, just from putting out that content and stuff that you have, to have such an impact on someone like that, like that's
what's really cool. Thank you. It is. And dude, likewise. And the power of social media is real. And more people, they need to harness that power, but just use it to have a positive impact on others. That's what's really important, because social media can be used the other way. And so if you're going to use social media, just use it intentionally and put out a positive message and be consistent with it. And dude, you can have a really positive impact on people.
It's so true, man. Like what is the main takeaway when someone goes to your page and leaves? Like, do they feel better about themselves, or do they feel motivated to be better? Like, are these the things? And from your page, like I just was looking at, I was scrolling through because I wanted to see more of your content. I was like, I gotta eat this up, man. Like I love what you're putting out. And there was one with your, not
alter
you were playing
ego.
Yeah,
bro. Yeah. So
talk about that
those.
process and how you came up with that and how you
So
started doing
really,
that.
I'll make that a quick story too. So basically my alter ego was based off of my nephew. He's like 5 or 6 years old, and he always says, "Hey, Uncle Tanner." And so that's how I got the voice. We're like, "Hey, Tanner." It's it's extremely sarcastic, extremely. And so you kind of have to have a sense of humor to appreciate it. But, and I'd use it in a way where I can deliver a positive message, but it also kind of, it makes people think, and it can kind of sting you, if that makes sense. Like, especially if I'm talking about someone like that, if I'm talking about someone that's overweight or has a bad diet, like, you'll think it's funny because it's so sarcastic, but it also kind of makes you think about, damn, I probably should eat healthier. And so that all came out with, I just thought to myself, all right, I want to make some content, and I really want to be myself, but obviously I can't say the things the way I want to say them to people, because it would really offend them, because I'm very honest and I'm very direct. And so instead of actually saying that message to other people, I say it to my alter ego, And so that's my way of delivering that message in my own voice. I hope that makes more sense.
No, it makes perfect sense, because I mean, especially inside our own heads, we can be our own worst critic, right? I mean, that changing that mindset has been like a big part of my journey. Like it's working out started out as like, I'm a shorter guy, and I need to, gain strength for hockey, because being a smaller guy, like I can't get pushed around.
Exactly.
And also I was like not an overweight child, but I considered myself husky, was like the term that I got from like my incredible mother that wanted me to feel okay with myself. And you know what I mean? Like all that stuff. But like, I was a chubbier kid. And so like working out really helped me to improve my self-esteem,
confidence. Yeah, dude, it does, man. It really does.
The craziest, and I think the best part about all of this is like, once you get on this journey and it starts being consistent enough where you're like feeling bad if you miss some sort of workout, then your mindset starts to really change, and you start diving deeper and finding out things like eating, not just, it's not just tracking your macros and your calories, which of course calories are king, right? Caloric deficit, that's how you lose weight. Caloric surplus, that's how you gain weight. Simple as that. But then focusing on the quality of the food that you're eating in those calories. Like,
yeah, you fucking nailed it, bro. Like literally that's what I tell people, man. Like, first thing, just get your calories under control. I tell people to track their calories for at least 2 weeks, so they actually are at least paying attention to what they're putting in their body, and just start limiting that. And then once they can kind of have an understanding of how much calories they're eating, then they'll lose weight just by eating less, even if they're still eating shit, obviously. But after that, then they're more open to actually eating better quality calories, just like you said. Right, you're nailing it, man. You're nailing it.
It's beautiful to see the results once you switch. Not like, because I was healthy for a lot of my life. Like my family, we grew up, we wanted to eat, it was salad, then dinner. Like, and when we packed a lunch, it was balanced. Like I'm very grateful that I grew up in a health conscious family.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
I can acknowledge that not everybody has the same starting position. Right.
Absolutely not.
And then my parents were like, get involved in whatever sport you want. Like, we'll take you, like, let's do this. So I played every sport growing up, and then high school, it was hockey and lacrosse. College, it was just hockey. And through that whole process, I was able to like do experiments on myself with different foods, and I just progressed and got healthier. Now, once COVID hit, I really reached out to my buddy, because at the beginning I had, I believed the fear and all that. And I had asthma, I put it in quotes because it's not a forever thing. It's just a result of poor diet. And I was eating, it was crazy because I was eating healthy, but not healthy like enough. And my gut was all messed up. And so I went on this journey with my buddy, Coach Sean Nixon. He's a big part of how much I like love life again. Like
Good.
He's incredible. And what he did was, we just basically did an elimination diet and then just slowly added food back. Added in like kombucha and sauerkraut, these things to help with gut health and
fermentable foods that are good for your microbiome.
Yeah. So when you're working with clients and stuff, and they come to you, obviously they're coming to you because they want to get on a fitness program and get healthier. Now,
for sure.
When you talk to them, like, how do you ease into, like, not only is this going to be workouts, but this is going to be, we got to eat healthier. Like, how do you address these things with your clients?
I honestly, each client is different, and you got to treat each client as an individual. Cause like you said, man, some people have grown up eating healthy, other people have not. And so you kind of got to treat each client like a bit differently as an individual. But I always start off with just having them figure out, all right, how many calories is your body burning a day right now? And that's just calculating your maintenance calories or your total daily energy expenditure. That's really the step one for everyone. If they want to lose weight or gain weight, then what I tell them, and I'm a huge advocate of eating protein. So I tell them, all right, say they want to lose weight. I'm like, man, we're going to put you in a caloric deficit. I just want you to eat this many calories a day. And then I just want you to get this many grams of protein a day. Like, those are really the only two non-negotiable rules I have. As far as everyone eats so differently. Like I tell them, I don't tell anyone like, hey, no foods are bad foods. No foods are off limits. Obviously you want to prioritize real, whole, nutrient dense, natural foods, but I'm not going to tell you what to eat or what not to eat, because I don't want to set up people for failure. I'm just like, the only two rules you got to abide by, man, is like, eat this many calories a day or eat this many calories in a certain week. I don't care how many calories, if your calories fluctuate day to day, as long as you're not exceeding this many calories in a 7-day period. And then I just want you to try to get this amount of protein. That's where I start off with most people, because those are the two most simple things that will make the biggest difference in people's, I guess, eating and nutrition and whether or not they achieve their goals. So that's very broad and general, but I feel like that's probably the best way to answer that question.
Well, it was kind of a trick question, because the true mark of an expert is like it depends answer. And like, I'm obviously I'm not ever trying to trick you with my questions, but like, it's so important for people to realize, like,
yeah, man, there's no magic diets or anything like that. And I never advocate any diet. All I advocate is just certain, I guess, nutrition principles. And that would really be it, man. Just principles, because any diet can work as long as you're taking care of your calories. That's the biggest thing. And then your macronutrients, and then the rest of that other stuff, it doesn't matter that much, So I just focus on like the big rocks, if that makes sense. And like I said, everyone's a bit different. Everyone's going to want to eat different foods, but dude, you just put yourself in a caloric deficit or surplus, depending on your goals, get enough protein, and you're probably going to be good to go as long as you're consistent with it.
I love that you say like almost any diet can be successful. Like if someone comes to me and they're like, they want to stay vegan, they want to stay carnivore, they want to stay keto, paleo, like,
for sure.
Everything can work.
Absolutely. And like, the last thing I would ever want is someone to come to me and be like, hey, Tanner, you have to eat this, this, and this. I'd probably be like, no, motherfucker, I'm going to eat whatever I want, And so I don't want to be that guy or that person. And so I just try to tell them, man, all right, this is what matters and this is what you need to focus on. And I try to keep everything as simple and easy to remember as possible, for people. And dude, like I'm kind of an extremist with my diet. I eat a very animal-based diet, and I probably eat 12 or 15 different foods. That's all. Like that's basically all I eat. And I eat it all the time, year round. I feel great. I love it. I never get tired of eating the foods because I feel good. I perform well, and I'm happy with how I look. And I know this is what works for me. But what works for me may not work for you or anyone else. So I'm never gonna tell anyone you have to do certain things. Just follow basic nutrition principles, and then figure out what works for you after that, and you'll be good to go.
It's so true, man. Like my last client that came to me, he had very, very specific goals and is already like insanely dedicated. And we tracked his food for a week. And then all I did was rearrange the macros of basically the food he was already eating, like rice, beef, and sweet potatoes. Like that's all the nutrients
he's
you
in
need.
good shape. Really? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
So that's that and with me, I don't eat the rice and I just have fruit for my carbs. But I engineer it right around before and after my workouts. So it's like mostly
you've already got it figured out. Like that's what I do. I eat a ton of fruit. I do eat rice, and I'll have potatoes, and I'll have some sourdough bread, but I consume the vast majority of my carbohydrates around my workout, before, during, and after. That's when your body needs it the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the time I'm eating, it's pretty high protein, and that's what works for me.
Yeah. And it's important for people to understand, like whatever diet you stick to, like that's the diet that's going to work.
Yeah,
like
absolutely, bro.
It doesn't matter if you're saying you want to be vegan, but then on the weekends you're going out drinking and eating, fried foods and stuff because you're out with your friends.
Chicken wings.
Yeah. Like that's also not going to work. But if you just stuck to being vegan the whole time and then like realize that there's good substitutes for all these things, like cool. Like I'm not someone who's going to do that. I don't even want to say, I don't like labels and ideology and stuff anyway. So like I eat
nutrition,
with balance.
That's good, bro. Nutrition shouldn't be dogmatic. Like, dude, just let people eat what they want to eat, and ultimately they're going to do that. Just like I said, man, if they're trying to be healthier, there's just a few things you want to adhere to. Your body's going to function better eating at your maintenance calories, or probably at a deficit if you want to lose weight. And you just want to make sure you're getting enough protein so you can maintain your lean body mass or your muscle. Like that's pretty much it, man. You can do that really following any diet. Like the best diet is the one you'll follow.
Yeah, exactly, man. So I want to pivot a little bit because you're a CrossFit Games champion or Dubai CrossFit champion. And you live in Dubai right now. Like, how freaking cool is that, man? Like, what is that even like? Like, how did you end up there? I want to go into this whole Dubai awesome.
Yeah. So I'll make this a quick story as well. So I finished up playing college football in Houston, Texas, and then I knew I wasn't cut out for a real job, and all I wanted to do was work out. And luckily, my dad, he is retired. He lives in the Philippines for like half the year. And he said, "Hey, son, come take a trip out to the Philippines, see this part of the world, because you may never get a chance to do it again once you get a job and start working."
Yeah.
And so I did. And then just luck would have it, I ended up getting a job coaching CrossFit in like one of the only CrossFit gyms in the Philippines. And so I did that for a year, and it worked out great because all I wanted to do was go to the CrossFit Games and work out. And I nearly did it my first year. I almost went to the CrossFit Games my first year. But I screwed up on one particular workout, so I didn't win the competition. Anyways, that experience when I was coaching CrossFit in Dubai, in the Philippines, I found out about this big CrossFit competition going on in Dubai called at that time, Dubai Fitness Championship. So I flew from the Philippines to Dubai and did this competition. And then I did the competition. I did reasonably well. I got third place, and that was in 2013. Then I got offered a job coaching CrossFit here in Dubai. So I'd already kind of stepped out of the US and realized, all right, man, the world's bigger than the United States. This is fucking cool. Like I should probably go out and, live life a bit. And that one thing led to another. I just got a better job coaching CrossFit in Dubai, and I've been here since, and I feel very fortunate to be here in Dubai. And now I don't even coach CrossFit anymore. I basically do online coaching, and I still do some in-person training, but I just live here in Dubai, and it's incredibly safe here. I love the quality of life. I don't pay nearly as much tax. So I'm super fortunate to be here. I love Dubai. It's on the other side of the world, but I highly recommend it to everyone. Anyone who listens to this podcast, if you ever get an opportunity to go out and visit Dubai or the United Arab Emirates, definitely do it. You won't regret it.
Yeah, man. I mean, as a DJ, like Dubai is one of those things that
it's one of those. It's probably a mecca for DJs, brothers. They have all kinds of crazy. I don't listen to, I guess, that kind of music a lot, but I hear about it and I see it on social media all the time. There's like some big name DJs or artists that come and play in Dubai like quite regularly. So I can imagine it's probably a good place that you'd want to come play.
Yeah, it's like there's you have like the south of France that everyone wants to go to. You have Vegas that everyone wants to go to. You got Miami and Dubai. Those are like the coolest.
Yeah,
you know,
the coolest
I would love to go to
Australia.
Australia, but those they're so it's
Dubai,
almost like
it's got that reputation. It's like, oh, it's Dubai, you know, and to a point, it is like that. Now, the way I live my life, I'm kind of a hermit. I don't get out much and enjoy that scene, but that scene is definitely here in Dubai. If you want to live that kind of life, it can be quite, trying to think of the word, very flashy, you know, and lavish and almost indulgent, you know, that'd probably be the way to do it. Like that's all here, man. And so I've seen a lot of people come and go from, you know, here in Dubai because they can't handle it, you know. So it's a great place. It has everything you could ever want. You just have to, you know, kind of keep it, you know, in check, I suppose, if you want to be healthier, if you're serious, if you live anything like me, you want to keep it all in check.
Dude, I fight this battle all the time. It's like, because the weekends is I have an apartment in Philly and I have my parents' house in Jersey, and I go back and forth. It's just easier for work and all this stuff. But I'm in Philly, man. There's no music scene during the day. Like it's at night, right?
It's all gonna be yep.
But during the week, like I'm going to sleep and waking up at relatively the same time every day, eating the same thing every day, doing not the same workouts, but doing the program that I'm on right now, and
consistent with your training, you know. During the week.
It's a tough, you know, transition, and one of my goals is to like make it so, because at every festival there's the sunset set, and like but it's not every day, and it's not on the weekends. Like it's only when there's a full day festival, and I want to bring, like, why can't we do that like on regular weekends so that I can get to bed at 10, 11 o'clock and wake up and go train and stuff, like,
dude, because you got to realize, like, you and I, we're like the minority, man. We live our life, you know, the way more humans should live. But dude, you know, most people, man, they just live their life. They go through it and they do what's easy and they do what's fun all the time, you know. And that's why I think a lot of people, bro, they don't enjoy what they do Monday through Friday, and then they try to escape their life on the weekends. So and that's okay. I'm not advocating or judging anyone how they live their life. I just choose to live my life a bit differently. I feel like, you know, life happens every day, and you kind of want to, I don't want to work Monday through Friday and then try to escape my reality on the weekend. I'd rather work every day and then hopefully be all right and be successful and not have to work anymore one day if I don't want to. Sorry, bro. That's just that's just a bit of life philosophy. I kind of went off on a tangent there.
No, well, that's what Free Yourself is really all about, man. It's the mindfulness behind, like, the reason why I brought you on is not just because you're this great trainer and you make great content, but I can tell your mindset. And you said this very, very specific thing that really stuck with me. most people are just eating mindlessly. And the whole point,
sure.
the whole point of my, holistic health coach is what I have as my title. And the reason why is because mindfulness and getting in meditation and stuff like that is so important to me as a person, not because I'm an athlete, but because all this stuff, the goal is so that every day we feel good. Right. And all of this stuff,
you should feel good every day.
Yeah. And so many people, it's like they have these, programs that they're running every day. And it doesn't allow for them to feel good in those, 9-to-5 jobs and stuff that they have. And there's so much, like, you can have a 9-to-5 job. I'm not someone who wants to do it. You're not someone who wants to do it, but you can have that and still be happy. And like so many people that they're so caught up in that same routine.
Dude, they're kind of in that rat race, and they're living their life on autopilot. And like you said, man, like that's actually most people. It really is most people. And you should really consider yourself very fortunate. I consider myself very fortunate. And again, everyone's situations are different, man. Some people, they have to support their family and they have to do what they have to do. But dude, like, in my opinion, you're not meant to not enjoy the majority of your life. And I like I said, I'm very fortunate and I work really hard. I work literally every day. But to me, it's not that hard to work every day because I enjoy what I do and I love what I do. And I just followed my heart and I've just been able to make it work. So I always encourage people. And if anyone listens to this, dude, if you have a genuine passion, if you're willing to work hard enough, you'll probably be able to find a way to make a living doing that. You may not make a great living, at least not at the start, but dude, who's to say you can't do really well for yourself? If you're fucking whatever, a trainer like me, or if you're into basket weaving, it doesn't matter. If you're passionate enough about it, you'll find a way to make it work. And people that work a 9-to-5, that's great. Work 9-to-5, do that. Then work on your side hustle after work. Like, if you're serious about improving your situation and making your life better, dude, you work when you're not at work, if that makes sense. Work until your side hustle can become your main job. You can't just sit around and wait for things to happen, bro. You got to fucking go out there and make it happen.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, shit, we're at 10:37. Man, if that wouldn't be like a perfect way to end this, man, that was so beautifully said. That's going to be the part that I clip out and for
dude,
sure.
Soundbite it, sure, man. That's fair. I'm gonna put some similar content, out there like that. Just short, quick hitting pieces of content that just tells people, man, like, dude, you're responsible for your own life. You're responsible for your own happiness. You are where you are because of every choice you've made in your life leading up to this point right now. And if you don't like where you are, then fucking do something about it. You're the only person that can really help yourself. So that's kind of where it is. I didn't always think like this, but I had some really positive experiences with some other people that are really inspiring to me, and they really shifted my mind and my mindset. And since that happened, man, I've really been thankful, and I've liked the path my life has taken, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, man. A little bit about how I got into this, and after getting into the music scene and in college, it was all there was sex, drugs, and electronic music. Like that's all there was.
It sounds really fun, but it's yeah. I know what you mean.
I got it like that led me to getting in trouble and having to clean up. And so I'd always been, someone who worked out, always been someone who played sports and like exercise. It saved my life because I had the thing that made me feel so good when, on the other hand, all this other stuff that I was doing was to escape how I didn't like I didn't feel good inside. And that stuff made me feel good, you know, of course, until the morning.
Bro, of course. So like, I'm just sorry to interject, but like what you're saying is 100% true, because all humans, the way our brain's wired, we're all just looking for the next dopamine release. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
We're always just looking for just the next high. And you can get that high from different ways, bro. You can get that from doing drugs. You can get that from having sex. You can get that from eating shit food. You can also get that from fucking working out hard, you know?
Hell yeah.
And doing that. And you just got to be careful, bro. Drugs, alcohol, unhealthy food, you know, bad habits. Those are not the ways that you want to get the majority of your dopamine hits, you know, because they lead you down the wrong path. And I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to dopamine and having that. And like, I have to have that hit, you know, that dopamine hit every day, multiple times a day sometimes. And I choose to do it through exercise. And I try to encourage more people to get their dopamine that way, man, because the rest of that stuff, they're vices, you know, and they're not, that's temporary happiness at best. It's temporary, but with exercise and feeling better, man, just the benefits of exercise and eating healthy and just a healthy lifestyle, bro, that leads you down the right path, and it leads to you feeling fulfilled and happy. So that's how I choose to get my dopamine. And I always try to tell other people that, man, get your dopamine through positive vices instead of negative vices.
Yeah, it's the short term versus the long term. Like those vices, bro. they give you the hit, and right as you're doing it feels great and it's awesome. But long term, it brings you down even more.
Yeah, it takes you to, you know, a lower low, if that makes sense, man. So yeah, bro, that's really cool that you've gone through those experiences and you've experienced both ways, man. You've definitely lived your life and enjoyed it in some ways, but also realized like, all right, this is not sustainably long term, and it's not the person I want to be. And it's great that you've been able to kind of take a new path and realize what works for you, and actually what's probably is the right path.
Yeah, I mean, come on, and especially because the healthier I am, the more I can do in a day. So I can work on my coaching. I can work on my music. I can work on my podcast. I can do all my own cooking with all the food that I have, you know, like I have time for all these things. I can do my meditations. I can go on social media and support my friends that are doing, you know, music and doing podcasting and doing coaching. And I have enough energy to do all these things, and it's sustainable long-term, because every day that I do it, I'm getting healthier. So it's so cool to see other people that are doing, you know, very, very similar, have very similar, you know, ideals. And it just confirms that like I know I'm doing a lot of the right things when I have someone like you who's, you know, been in the game a little bit longer than me and who has been preaching these things and is putting out, you know, good content. And it's really good to see people like you and Dr. Brian May and all these people that I can, you know, learn from, because both of you have a lot longer as a coach than I do. And Dr. Brian May, I mean, we both know how freaking educated he is in his field. So to be able to turn on. Yeah, it's so I'm grateful for you and all the content that you've been putting out. And I also, the last thing I want to talk about is you're doing a great job editing your videos and putting, not like, that's what I'm most, you know, impressed with your content is your editing stuff. So you know, there's going to be a lot of producers and content creators that are going to be watching this. So what are some tips that you have for like people that want to create content? Like what are some apps and stuff that you're using?
Yeah. So man, I feel like, I don't feel like a phony or anything like that, but nothing like that. But one thing that the best thing I ever did, man, is, and I'm very fortunate to I think the stars just aligned. I have a full-time videographer that works for me, and I do all the content. He films it and puts it out there for me. And like literally hiring full-time content guy was literally the second best thing I ever did. The first best thing was starting to work for myself. The second best thing was hiring that guy. And I wish I had that, but if you think about it, so I know my areas of strength and I know my weaknesses. I'm a gym rat. Like, I know everything it is about working out. I'm not the most computer savvy guy. I knew that going in, and I knew if I wanted to grow and, really put out a positive message and make an impact, that I needed to, people aren't going to take you seriously if you don't take your content seriously, so quality of content, that's been it. I take it quite seriously. And so, bro, I hired someone and he works for me full time. Luckily, he's fucking badass at it. He's so good. I really got lucky with that. And then I'm just lucky that I was able to afford that. But I didn't start off like that. Like, that's something I worked my way up to. I wish I had some editing tips and things like that. But the biggest thing I can tell you about content is put out content every day. If you can't make one good piece of content a day, then you're fucking lying to yourself, because you absolutely can. You just got to work at it. And the more you do it, the more reps you get, the better you'll get at it. And you don't have to have a full-time videographer like me. You don't have to use a really nice camera, but just make an effort, put an effort and put genuine thought into it, and just put out a short, whatever, dude, a 15-second Instagram reel. Doesn't really matter, but just make it thought-provoking and share a positive message. And like, also another thing, don't make content for yourself. Make content for your audience. Think about what your audience would want to see. Because everyone's extremely selfish. They're going to like content that applies to them. So if you think, oh man, I want to post this, I want to post my fucking workout or something like that, you got to realize, all right, I care about my workout. Yes, it's great. But are other people going to care about that? Maybe not so much. So I'm not saying don't post your workouts, but also the majority of your content should probably be to help other people or to apply to other people. That's if you want to grow, and that's the approach I've taken. And that's what I did with, my content. I'm a lot more active now on YouTube as well. And also just writing articles. I write those articles to teach other people things, not to teach, not for myself. And so when you take kind of a selfless approach to your content, that's when I think that's probably one of the best tips I could give anyone that listens to this.
Well, dude, the proof is in the pudding, man. You're putting out good content. You see the engagement, and you've been able to do this as a result of taking charge of your life and being your own boss, like doing exactly what you love. Like, if that's not inspiration,
man, I'm super lucky, Ryan. Like, I say I'm lucky. I work every day and I work extremely hard, but, dude, just, man, if you want to be successful, man, you got to fucking work. That's all I can really tell you. And man, I don't really know what else to say, man. I'm super thankful. There's a lot of guys that are way, way ahead of me, on a whole nother level. And I look up at them and I'm like, shit, dude, I still got a long ways to go. But dude, it all happens kind of incrementally, and just be patient and, don't compare yourself to others, man. You are where you are, and just keep doing what you're doing and be consistent. And dude, you're going to get to where you want to go eventually.
Now that's the beautiful ending to this podcast. My man, Tanner, Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm looking forward to seeing more of your content and learning from you, man. From one coach to another. It is beautiful to see what you've done and building your company and all this, man. I'm happy. I'm so grateful you came on this podcast and we were able to talk about it.
Thanks for having me, man. It was an honor to be on your podcast. I appreciate you considering.
Hell yeah, man.
And dude,
everyone that hung in the whole time, thank you so much. Your support means the world to me. And don't forget, spread peace, love, unity, and respect. We're out, man. Thank you, Tanner.